So I want to talk about some of the things that they don't tell you when you're starting a lock journey, because I feel like if you're about to start one, you want to know these things, right? First thing that they don't tell you about well, it's not the first thing, but one of the things that they don't tell you about, like when you're starting a lock journey, is that your starter locks won't look like locks. I mean, I think that's like obvious, but I think some people may go into a lock journey thinking that their starter locks will be like, oh yeah, they're gonna, like, people will think that I have dreads or I'm starting dreads, but really they look like these little skinny little straws on your head, and people are like, what is that new hairstyle? You just got like finger coils, or you got twists, or what, like you got some like braids in or something, because you can start your locks with all those methods. But yeah, they won't look like locks, they'll just look like twists, coils, or if you do braid locks, braids, because your hair is not locked. It's literally, you have your hair in a position to get locked. You're cultivating it. Unless you get instant locks, that's what will pretty much let people know that, hey, yeah, this person's locked, because they instantly look like locks. They don't look like mature locks, but they look more like a lock than a twist, coil, or braid would. The way a lock starts looking like a lock is when your starter locks start, shedding over time. That's what makes the lock look like a lock, because they're thin at first. They don't have any of the shed hair that's accumulating in the lock. So over time it'll thicken up and they won't look like how they look when you first started, because that's why they're called starter locks. Another thing that they don't tell you when you're starting a lock journey is that your hair will shrink like a motherfucker. Like, I'm not even playing with you when I tell you, I want to walk to the ocean, but it's just so loud every time I walk over there. So I'm just on this path. But anyway, so your hair will shrink up so much. Like, my hair was almost waist length hair when I started this lock journey, and as you can see, I'm 2 years locked, and the bitch still ain't at my waist. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not even that bra strap. It's not at my waist. It's not my bra strap. It's just at my shoulders. That's the trade-off you get for lower maintenance hairstyle, right? That looks good all the time. Like, I don't barely ever do my hair, and I don't have bad hair days because I literally just wash my hair now. Like, I don't have bad hair days anymore. So it's kind of like the trade-off you get. So the hair was right there, and now look at it. So yeah, it'll shrink more than half your initial length. So don't think that just because you have long hair and you're gonna start locks, you're cheating, or you're gonna cheat the process and you're like, yeah, okay, I got long hair, I'm gonna get my hair the same length when I'm locked. No, that's not true. It shrinks. Locks are literally knots. So think about taking a shoestring and just putting a bunch of knots in them. It shortens because it's a knot. Like, that's just what it is. So if you start on longer hair, you will have some length, but you're not gonna be at the length that you're at. Like, it just doesn't work that way. All right, another thing that people don't tell you is that, I think I am biting. Hold on. Oh goodness, freaking animals. Okay, another thing that I feel like people don't tell you when you're starting a lock journey is that you may start your lock journey over a bunch of times. Like, I'm telling you, I'm guilty of it, okay? And it's not even something to feel guilty about. It's just something that happens. Like, it's a fucking commitment having locks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you're literally locking your hair unless you have the patience to uncomb it, because that takes more patience than locking your hair. It's a commitment, and you want to make sure that you love the size of your locks. You want to make sure you like the parting system that you chose. And sometimes people want to experiment. They're like, yo, I started with coils, but I want to start with twists now. What's the difference? I know I had that curiosity and I started over. And sometimes you may not like the way they're coming out, like they're forming. You may be 6 months in, you're like, damn, I think these locks are too small, or damn, I think these locks are too thick, or man, I wish I went with triangle partings instead of box partings, or maybe you don't like the awkward phase. Maybe you're just like, yo, I look like shit, like, or these locks are sticking up all the time and looking like this, and like, this is not how I envisioned the lock journey being. I thought I was gonna have starter locks and go to mature locks, but some people don't know that that's not what happens. They just expect their hair to be locked and beautiful and mature, and that takes patience. And that's another thing that comes with it that may make people want to come out their locks when they're first starting, is the lack of patience. You can't just wake up and get locks. Like, some people think that's the case, and unless you get like the instant lock and then you get extensions. Yeah, maybe you could like, you know, put on that facade of like mature locks, but still not mature. It takes time to mature your locks. Another thing that may make you want to comb out your locks or like start your journey over, is because of the comments you get. I mean, I had a lot of fucked up comments when I started all my lock journeys, and the main one that always persisted was, you have such beautiful curly hair, why would you get locks? Like, did I ask you first of all? What's my business? You know what I'm saying? Another thing people don't tell you when you're starting a lock journey is that your hair regimen will change. It's not going to be the same as your loose natural hair. So loose natural hair, you know, use butters, waxes, gels, creams. I don't know what else you put in your hair. Leave-in conditioner, other stuff that is easy to wash out when you have loose natural hair, right? But when you are locked, this lock right here, not right here, but locks in general, are like sponges. They're very, they hold a lot of shit, and the more stuff you put in your hair, the harder it is to wash out. There's only so much washing you could do when, like, you know, it's stuck in the core. It's hard to, once it gets in, it's hard to get out, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. And instead of putting stuff in your hair, just try not to put stuff in your hair, because then you'll have an easier time with your locks. Because the reason why I feel like people think locks are dirty is because people treat them like loose hair, and then stuff gets stuck in it. Like, if you can't wash out wax and all these sticky things that you're putting in your hair like it's loose hair, then lint gets stuck in there, dirt gets stuck in it, and it just looks like a dirty ass, you just have dirty ass locks. And then people are like, oh, you have dirty ass locks are dirty. And that's not the case. You can't care for locks the same way you would loose natural hair. It just doesn't work. Locks are low maintenance. It doesn't require leave-in conditioner, butter, black gel, wax. You don't need any of that stuff to lock your hair, dude. Your hair locks on its own. Have you ever left braids in for a long time and then it started to mat up? Guess what? Yeah, it's turning into a lock. And guess what? You didn't need any of those gels and waxes to lock your hair. One of the things that pisses me off that people say is, oh, you need wax to lock your hair. No, you don't. How about you just don't put nothing in your hair and it will lock on its own? Our hair naturally locks. Black hair naturally locks. And you don't need any of that shit to help it lock. The last thing you need is buildup, and then people saying, oh, you see, I told you not to get locks, you're a dirty ass bitch. You don't need any of that stuff to lock your hair. So keep it simple. Shampoo, a little conditioner, diluted as hell, and oil. That's all you need for locks. You don't need all these other things that people are trying to sell to you, like butters, creams, and wax, and oh, this will lock your hair faster. That's bullshit. All right, another thing people don't tell you when you're starting a lock journey is that your scalp may get crazy itchy. And I mean, your scalp may get itchy for several reasons. I mean, everybody's scalp is different. But I think one of the main reasons why your scalp gets so itchy is because I feel like your scalp goes through a detox when you're locking your hair. I feel like locking your hair is the most natural hairstyle that you could do, because you're not putting all this shit in your hair, depending on who locks your hair. Like, if you go to a good loctician who's not gonna like be smacking black gel and wax all over your hair, yeah, you're not using all this product on your hair. Like, this is very natural. Like, when I tell you there's nothing in my hair, I cut a piece of my lock off and I cut it down the middle. There's nothing in my lock. There's no gunk or dirt. What people want to say, the stereotypes about locks, oh, they're dirty. There's none of that stuff, because I don't put shit in my hair. And because I don't do that, I feel like my scalp went through a crazy detox. And I think a lot of people could attest to this, because I'm not using product anymore. I'm not using all the stuff. I'm not using all the butters and gels that I was just talking about. I'm literally just letting my scalp create its natural sebum, and I'm washing it like once a week. And after I wash it, I use a little bit of oil, and then I just let my scalp create its own sebum again. Once you get through that phase, it starts to just be easy and breezy and simple, because now my scalp does not itch as much. It only itches when it's time to get washed, which is usually when it's like I'm sweaty and it's about that time. So yeah, I think most people could say that's true. But you know, if you have your own situation, like if you have dandruff issues, or maybe you have an allergic reaction to something, it could be those reasons. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like your scalp detoxing from not using so much shit on your head anymore. Another thing people don't tell you when you're starting locks is that it'll take a while to see some length, to see some hang time. Even if you start with longer hair, like I said, it will shrink, and it'll take you a while before you can see the length again. Like, even now, I feel like right now being 2 years locked is when I'm like starting to see some type of length come back. Because when I look back at my lock videos on this channel, like when I look at my 3-month lock up there or my 6-month, I'm like, damn, my hair was so short. During that time, I really thought I was locked too. I was like, yo, my locks are mature already. No, they weren't. They weren't mature at all. And they were hella short, and they were still shrinking and budding and shrinking and condensing. And I thought that was it. That's what's so funny. That's why also you should take videos of your lock journey, because you'll get to see, like, sometimes I do feel like my hair's not growing, like, and then I like look back at videos, like even like recently I looked back at a video like 3 months ago and I was like, oh shit, my hair changed a lot. Like my hair was actually like shorter and now it's longer. What the heck? So yeah, you will lose some length and it'll take time to see the length come back, but it'll come back. But you gotta be patient as hell. I'm not gonna lie to you. You gotta be so patient. Okay, another thing people don't talk about when you're starting a lock journey is feeling rough. Like you will feel rough, you will feel insecure, you will feel like this is the wrong choice I made. I shouldn't have locked my hair. What was I thinking? Fuck, I paid all this money, my hair's already budding. Should I comb them out? Like, should I leave these in? Is it too late to comb them out? How long is it gonna take to comb out one lock? All those thoughts are completely normal, especially when you're feeling at your lowest in your journey. I mean, it's a transformation. I'm telling you, you go from styling your hair whenever you want, or like maybe your hair is the thing that makes you feel cute, you know, like styling your hair to go out to dinners and stuff. Like that's like the shit, like, oh, that's the icing on the cake, getting my hair done, doing my hair. And then when you have locks, there is no such thing as really doing your hair. Like you gotta let the shit breathe, you gotta let it chill. So that's kind of out. And then yeah, you're just gonna feel rough, you're gonna feel insecure. People are probably gonna make you feel worse too, like, damn, your hair looks frizzy, your hair looks this. And it's just like, that's just temporary, it's gonna go away. It's just part of the process, it's part of the transformation. I feel like you could make it look cute too, instead of just being like, damn, my hair looks like shit, I want to retwist it, and then you retwist it too often, which is a bad idea. Like just trying to like put it to the side and like maybe wear like a little clip or something, or like slick down your baby hairs, or like wear some earrings. Just get creative with it. It's only a short time where your locks are trying to figure out what's happening and trying to become locks. So don't get discouraged. Feeling rough will go away eventually. I know the first year is rough. The first year is rough, I'm not gonna lie to you. Wear a cap. That's what I used to do. My hair was sticking up all the time. I went to Marshall's, I bought a bunch of baseball caps, and that's what I would do. I think another thing people don't tell you when you're starting a lock journey is that your scalp may be more sensitive. Like I told you, it goes through a detox phase. That's one thing. But the other thing is your scalp becomes super sensitive to getting fucked with. I don't know how else to say it. Your scalp becomes super sensitive being maintained, I guess you could say, or like messed with. Like your scalp, you'll notice that styling your hair is annoying, or it's painful, or like doing braids. Like I noticed, like when I had locks in, like I didn't really try to style my hair until like maybe 5 months or something like that, where I did this hairstyle. I think it's in a video I had where I like did this braid in the front and then I had one in the back. It was a cute ass hairstyle, but when I went to go sleep, I couldn't even lay on this braid in the back because my hair was just not used to getting styled for like that 5 months where I was just leaving it alone, letting it be free. So then when I did go to style it, it was like, what are you doing? Leave me alone. And I think that a lot of people can talk about that, because I googled it too. I'm like, yo, is it just me? Why is my scalp hurting so bad now that I have locks? It didn't used to feel like I used to style my hair all of the freaking time when I was loose. And there goes the key point right there. I used to style my hair all the freaking time when I was loose. I did cornrows, I did twists, I was putting them in tight ass buns. With locks, I was letting it literally just be down and out and free. Spraying it with water, no tension, no nothing. So then when I did go and put the tension after 5 months, it was just like, whoa. And you will get headaches, and you will get migraines, and you will not sleep unless you take that style down. Another thing people don't tell you is that you should not be retwisting your hair or interlocking your hair or whatever form of maintenance you do to your locks. You should not be doing that all the fucking time. Like, you need to let that shit breathe. You're constantly retwisting that one part, and it's constantly getting retwisted, and then it starts to just get old. Let's just say that. it starts to get old, and I'm pretty sure your hair is just like, can you leave me alone? I need to breathe. I need to, like, you need to let your scalp breathe. You need to let your hair thicken up. Like, you need all that to happen to have healthy hair. I hate when I see girls constantly retwisting their hair. Like, even when you're loose, if you keep putting your hair in a tight ponytail all the time, you keep putting it, slicking it, pulling it, slicking it, pulling it, guess what happens? You start to freaking get thinning. And I've seen that happen with people I know personally and online. Like, you will literally start to thin there. And the same way that you don't want to keep putting your hair in tight buns and like slicking it down, tight buns, slicking it down, you don't want to keep retwisting, slicking, retwisting, slicking, because then it'll start to thin out and your scalp needs a break. It just needs to be free. Isn't the point of you getting locks to be free? To have a more natural hairstyle? So let the shit get fuzzy, let it get bushy, and then retwist it like once a month or something or whatever. Just don't do the shit. Don't retwist your hair like every week. Let it breathe. Another thing I don't know if people tell you or people don't tell you when you're starting locks is that if you don't like the size of your locks, like say you have skinny ass locks, so you like have like 180 locks, and then like when you get to the 1 year mark, you're like, damn, I wish I had like thicker locks. You could combine them. You don't have to start your whole journey over. You can just combine them. The only thing that you can't do is if you have thick locks, like if you have freaking 5 locks and you want to go thinner, you can't go thinner. And you could cut them, but I mean, I've seen some people cut their locks in half. That shit looks crazy. I would not recommend that at all. I would recommend you start over. Come out those 5 locks and get small locks. But when you start small, you can go thicker. But when you go thick, you can't go back small. It's gonna be, I'm not saying it's impossible because I've seen some crazy techniques, but another thing people don't tell you about when you're starting a lock journey is that you should definitely detox your locks after the year mark. And after the year mark, you should detox your locks 2 to 3 times a year, because you want to get rid of product buildup, sebum, just residue from other products, from dust, debris that's in the air when you're walking. You want to get all that stuff out your hair, and there's only so much shampoo could do, because the thing about a detox is you're using super hot water, you're using ACV, you're using baking soda, and then you're dipping your locks in that hot water, and it's really getting to the core of your locks. It's really getting deep in there, and it's getting everything out. So you should be detoxing your hair if you don't want dirty ass locks. So it's just good for your locks, because like I said, locks is not a loose, it's not like a loose hairstyle. It's a different type of hairstyle that needs different care. It needs different care, and you gotta get deep inside 2 or 3 times. And it's such a strong detox that you don't need to do this detox once a week or once a month. Like, I think 2 to 3 times a year is a good amount that you would need to get your hair on point. And if you do need to do it like 4 times a year, go for it. But I don't think more than 4 is really necessary. Another thing people don't tell you about when you start lock journey is the amount of time it takes for your hair to dry. That shit takes forever to dry. And if you don't have a bonnet, a hooded blow dryer bonnet, oh my god, it'll take forever to air dry, especially the more mature they get. Like, I'm 2 years in, and I wash my hair in the morning, because like if I wash it at night, I'm not about to sleep with a wet head, because if you do, you risk getting mildew in your locks, mold and mildew, and you don't want that. And I know some people are scared of it. I was freaking traumatized. I was petrified by it, because I think on one of my lock journeys, I was not drying my hair properly, and it did start to smell a little funky. Like, it started smelling like, it didn't smell just like a wet sponge, but it started smelling like a wet sponge. You know when you wash the dishes and you're like, oh my god, and you like put a little bleach in that bitch. It didn't smell that bad, but it started getting there, and that scared me enough to when I started my next lock journey, which is this lock journey, I took crazy precaution, and I haven't had problems. So yeah, you want to make sure that your locks are dry. Do not sleep with a wet head. Do not put your hair up in the bun and sleep with it. You're wearing it in the bun and the middle stays wet, you gotta let it like breathe. Another thing people don't tell you when you're starting locks is that lint is very much an annoying ass piece of shit that you gotta deal with. It's not the biggest deal. I used to think it was a bigger deal because I hated it. I thought it was so gross. I'm like, ew, lint, I don't want that shit in my locks. But when you come to think about it, lint is just like fibers that are in the air. It's on your clothes, it's on your pillow. It's just like you breathe and there's fucking lint everywhere. So the thing about locks is you can't comb it out. You know when you comb out your hair and like you see lint in the brush or the comb, the locks, you can't comb it out obviously. So the lint does get stuck in your hair, but you could prevent a lint buildup by not going to sleep on like a freaking fuzzy ass pillowcase. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as much as I like those little cozy blankets and stuff in the winter, I choose to sleep with something that's not gonna shed. Like I like getting, like, you could get satin sheets or something like that, or if you do like those fuzzy ass blankets or whatever, just cover your hair, or like make sure it doesn't touch your hair. But even still, I would cover it if you do sleep with that. But I personally choose to sleep with satin pillowcase and like a sheet that doesn't shed, or a satin sheet too, because I don't like lint. I don't want lint in my hair. I don't want people seeing lint in my hair. I don't even like, there are times where I do have like little balls from, like, maybe if I'm putting a hood on, I have to take it out. You want to be very cognizant that you're taking the lint out, or if you see it, you catch it, you take it out, because it will get embedded in your hair, and you don't want that, because over time it'll build up over the years, and then it'll just show on the surface, and then you try to pick it out, then it weakens the lock, and it's just all this drama. All I'm trying to tell you is that prevention is key with lint. Like, lint is inevitable. I'm sure I have some in my hair, like, but it's not a lot, because I did comb out some locks, and I've been doing a really great job. Not to brag or nothing. This is my last thing. So no one really talks about this, but I mean, it's like one of those things that's like way down the line when you have locks, but your locks may get heavy over time. Like, the longer they get, the more condensed they get, the more hair that sheds in your lock, the more heavy that they'll get, especially when they're wet. So the only thing you can really do is trim them if they get too long and heavy. Like, that's really all you can do. I mean, unless anybody else has something else to say. We lose 100 strands a day, right? All that is in our locks. So all that over time, over years, you have like 18-year-old locks, and they're like down to your freaking ankles, and then you go and wash your hair. Those 18-year-old locks, yeah, it's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be heavy on your neck. What do you do if you don't want to lose your locks? Just trim them up to your back or your waist. So anyways, those are my tips for people who are considering starting a lock journey, and like wanted to know the real on, like, you know, the things people don't tell you, because I wish people told me these things when I was starting out, because I just feel like when I was on YouTube, everyone was talking about, oh yeah, it's just great, it's no maintenance, like I just live my life and my locks flirt, like all these things I found out on my own, and I just was mad because I'm like, how come no one's telling me the real stuff? So I wanted to make a video sharing that with you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to do. And I'm gonna show you the beach, since I couldn't really record because it's so loud, and every time I go over there I forgot to scream. But thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think, comment down below, and I'm going to show you guys the beach.